In a small, forgotten town stood an old Victorian house, shrouded in mystery and tales of hauntings. Melissa, a delicate 10-year-old with large inquisitive eyes, had recently moved into this eerie mansion with her father, John, and her stepmother, Evelyn. The house groaned with age, and its shadowy corridors held secrets waiting to be unraveled. From the moment Melissa set foot inside, she felt watched, as though the eyes of the past bore into her soul. John was a kind man, dedicated to his work and oblivious to the supernatural. Evelyn, however, was distant, her cold demeanor making Melissa feel even more isolated. She often busied herself in the garden, trimming roses with an unsettling precision. As the days passed, strange occurrences began to plague the house. It started with minor disturbances, such as flickering lights and creaky doors. But soon, the house's malevolence revealed itself. Soft whispers would follow Melissa down the halls, and at night, shadows danced across her bedroom walls. One evening, as Melissa sat in her dimly lit room, she heard a soft thump from the attic above. Curiosity got the better of her, and she decided to investigate. Grabbing a small lantern, she crept up the creaky staircase. Each step seemed to echo throughout the house, amplifying her dread. The attic door was slightly ajar, and a cold draft seeped through. She pushed the door open, and the lantern's light revealed old trunks and cobweb-covered furniture. Suddenly, a chilling whisper echoed, "Melissa." Panicking, she turned to leave, but the door slammed shut. Trapped, she felt a cold hand brush against her shoulder. Her heart pounded as she spun around, and there, in front of her, stood a shadowy figure with hollow eyes. It took a step closer, raising an arm as if to reach out to her. Melissa screamed, the sound piercing through the thick air. In a frantic effort, she swung the lantern, shattering it and casting the attic into darkness. The sound of the shattered glass seemed to break the spell, and the door creaked open, allowing her to escape. She bolted out of the attic, tears streaming down her face. She ran into her father's study, babbling about the ghostly figure, but John dismissed it as childish imagination. Evelyn, however, stared at her with an unreadable expression. That night, as Melissa tried to sleep, she couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't alone. The room grew colder, and she saw her breath misting in the air. Suddenly, the bed shook violently, and the walls seemed to close in around her. Through the distorted shadows, she saw the same figure from the attic emerging from the darkness. Paralyzed with fear, she clutched her blanket, eyes wide with terror. The figure leaned in closer, its face inches from hers, and whispered, "Leave before it's too late." The next morning, Melissa pleaded with her father to leave the house. John, seeing the genuine terror in her eyes, finally agreed. As they packed their belongings, Evelyn watched them with that same inscrutable expression.